Darlings, thank you so much for joining me on my channel today, and I am doing my Who You Are by the Well for God setup for the month of September. I'm mainly going to be using the pattern paper, which is an add-on and it coordinates with the kit. This is the 6x8. You guys know how much I love this paper, and I am going to be building big tags. So I will be making 14 tags to house my journaling for each day. And what I'm doing here is I pull out my Fiskars and I am going to go ahead and cut down all of these papers down to 5 inches wide. So I'm just going through some papers that I know I'm going to love as backgrounds. And I just cut down a couple of them. This is going to ensure that I have some to start as a base, but also I can use them as a template to cut my other papers if need be. So I'm going through all of these papers, and I just want to say the colors are super fall, just setting the tone for all the fall feels. And so it's definitely a kit that even if you just pick up the main kit and maybe some pattern paper, you can definitely do a project like this. Okay, so here you see me on screen. I'm going through my papers, counting out how many I have. I cut down as many as I think I'm going to need. I'm going to start off by making 6 of the large tags, and then later on in the month, I'll have another craft day at my desk and make 7 more. But I'm going to start off with the first half of the devotional. And usually with projects like this, I do like to set up all 14 days, but because tags just take a little bit more time, this whole process took me about an hour. I didn't want to be at my desk too long, so I thought I would do 7, and then another free day that I had in my calendar, I'll do 7 more. Okay, so going through these, as you guys saw, I also off camera took the time. We have these beautiful little labels that have verses, and I love that Lori included those. Those were actually in the add-on pack. And then we also have some other ephemera and verse cards that came with the main kit, and I put those inside of my gathering box. So each day you'll see me pull out what I have for day 1. So for day 1, I have this verse here, and now I'm just kind of making the tag around the verse because I know this is one of the verses in day 1. So you see me grab some Distress Oxide. This color is Tattered Rose, and I use this color to kind of knock off some of the white from around the die cut. And then I'm going to grab some extra labels as well. You'll see me use these a lot. And this is to place my title. And for day 1, the title is Friend Beloved. And so I layered that along with that die cut label. And so, of course, because it's a die cut, I have to use glue. And so I'm going to round off the bottom corners. And I end up not doing this with all of them because I'm going to do them all at the same time. Here's a trick that you can do with your tags. If you cut off one corner, use that same corner on the other side just to make sure that it's even. And I saved those corners so I can use them on my other tags as well, so it's the same size. Okay, moving on to 2. So you see me pull out my folder from my gathering box. This is the verse for day 2. So I grab this sunflower paper, and I grab another paper that I know would match, and I'm just trying to find something to work around. Day 2 is called Family. So I'm going to grab this sunflower paper, and then I'm going to use this wood grain paper on the bottom. And like I said, I am creating pockets, and this is going to house all of the notes that I'm going to have, verse cards or maybe extra journaling cards that I'm going to use. You'll see me tuck some of those in as well in this video. And I'm just creating the space that I need in order to have my notes here. Usually I do also set up a traveler's notebook, but because I'm going to be doing all my journaling in these journaling cards and tucking them in here, I have enough space for that. So I'm going to forego the heart part in a traveler's notebook and just add them to the journaling cards you'll see me add into these pockets later on in the video. Okay, same thing here. I use a one of those labels. I use the title starter and the number 2 that comes on white sticker paper from the main kit. And I added a die cut, and then I'm using the little corners from my first tag to make the corners for the second tag. Okay, so I grab this piece. This is the piece that is actually a postage sticker, and it's on white sticker paper, and it comes with the main kit. So I'm looking for things that match this one, because this verse is one that coordinates with day 3, which is called Bride and Heir. And so I actually was thinking about using this big piece right here, but as I'm taking a look, I actually decide to pivot, because when I look that day 3's name is Bride and Heir, I decided I want to use a girl. So you'll see me flip through this, and then I'm actually going to pivot right here. When I see that, I'm going to try and see if I can find a girl within my die cuts, because I just thought it would be cuter to have a woman represented for this one. So again, I'm just going through these, trying to find out what I'm going to use. Then I find the perfect girl. She's sitting down in her armchair, reading her book. Definitely the fall feels for this one. So I tear off this green plaid, because she has some green in that. And then I'm going to tear off a little bit of that. I want to have something to anchor down this die cut, because she is sitting in a chair. I wanted to give it like a living room setting. So knocking off some of that white with my round contour brush, and taking off some of the white off of the bottom so it can kind of sit along that strip of paper that I added on the bottom, and then I'm adding that there. You'll see as well that I add a lot of die cuts and or labels that interact with the corners of my tags, and that's just so I can cut off the excess and create more room to add more labels and other things there. Here I add the title starter to the label, and then I'm going to add the number 3 to represent day 3, and then I added the postage, which uses the verse that is for day 3, and then I'm going to cut off some of this beautiful floral as well to create a little cluster of 3 there. Again, you'll see me use that contour brush a lot, and I'm using that same Distress Oxide, the Tattered Rose, knocking some of that white off so it's not so stark against the page. Okay, and that is going to do it for day 3. So now I'm moving on to day 4. I grab my folder from my gathering box, and I have another postage stamp for this day, and there's a tractor on here. So at first I was like, oh, I definitely want to use the tractor. I remember that there was a beautiful one in the die cut set, but I pivot with this one as well. So here I'm doing a diagonal pocket, and I add some glue along the sides, and then I'm going to add that on. But as I'm going through this one, I do realize that on day 4, there's another die cut in the add-on that has a sentiment that is perfect, which says, "This world is not my home." And since that is one of the big points here in day 4, which is called citizens, strangers, sojourners, and exiles, I am going to actually use that piece because it kind of brings the main idea as a focus versus using this tractor. So I'm going to use a little bit of this leftover floral piece that I have. I love using my scraps, just adding some more texture. And so this is also going to anchor a little bit on this bottom part. I'll cut off the excess, and then working through all those die cuts, I finally realized, okay, I'm going to need something else here. I grab also some journaling cards to kind of tuck inside because I knew I wanted to have. And I used the 2 journaling cards that have the suitcase because this talk about citizens and sojourners and exiles. I thought it was fitting. And then here is that big title starter, or it's actually like a quote piece that comes in the add-on die cut. So I'm going to knock off some of the white off of the edges, and I just love the way this one turned out. I'm also going to add half of a label up at the top, and none of these tags are fully done. I just want to go ahead and say that this is just me creating a basis, so a lot of the work is already done, but I want to add some sewing, some stitching. I also had pulled out a lot of pom-pom trims and ribbon that I want to add to the bottom and to the top of these beautiful tags. But this is just creating a kind of like a base so that when I come to my desk every other day or on the weekends, a lot of the work is already done. Okay, so moving on to day 5. Day 5 is called Salt and Light. And I have the label die cut that has the verse. So again, I'm going to be using that as inspiration for this one. And so I wanted to use this kind of collage-y type background. And then I'm going to I'm going to use that as the bottom pocket. And then there is a little label there. So I thought it would be the perfect part for me to go ahead and add that label right over that. And then I'm going to use a die cut over on the left. And as you guys can see, it's becoming easier because I kind of have like a formula. I'm using the same corners to create the tag at the top. I'm creating a pocket. I'm using whatever is in the little folder from my gathering box for that day and just working the art around whatever I already have. So here you're going to see me, I layered 2 labels. I wanted that second label that has the verse to kind of pop off the page a little bit more. So I use a yellow sticker label behind it. And then I'll grab the number 5 and then I'll outline that down there. And then that kind of wraps it up for day 5. Moving on to day 6. Day 6 is called Temple Living Stones. So I know day 6, this Glorify God is the die cut that matches with that. And then I also have another postage stamp that has a verse, and that one had the bed of a truck that has some sunflowers. So I'm going to go ahead and use this beautiful hymnal type pattern paper on the bottom. It also has some sunflowers and a bucket, and then I'm going to use a green background at the top. And for this one, I'm going to use Glorify God, but I also need to add my title starter, and it's really long, so I end up using 2 of the labels, and I thought about using it on the bottom, but I don't want to cover up so much of that beautiful hymnal paper, so I use it towards the top, and then I'm going to grab 1 more of those labels, and then I'll layer it together. So I have a double label and I can fit my full title up there. I thought about maybe putting it directly on the tag, but if I did that, the word temple was kind of just going to blend right into the tag. Okay, so cutting off my excess, tucking that in there at the top. And then I'm also going to glue the Glorify God, which is a main point in day 6. And then I'm going to tuck that little postage. I was going to add it at the top, but I thought it looked a little busy. So what I do is I go back and I actually tuck that into day 6 there. So I remember to use it when I'm going to have my die cuts. I put it back on the backing there. Okay, and now day 7, which is branches. I have actually, for day 7, there is a journaling card. 3 journaling cards come with the main kit. So I'm going to use that as my main art at the bottom. So this one makes it easy peasy. So I grab 2 different pattern papers that match. I had this leftover one here that I used for half of it for another pocket. So I'm going to use the other half down here for another pocket. And I'm just going to glue this whole thing down. It has the verse, it has the art, it's ready to go, not making it any more difficult. All I need to do is grab a label. And so I'm running out of labels. So I actually go into, you'll see me, I'll grab some more labels from my stash. And here I'm just adding some coordinating journaling cards to my pocket so I can do my notes. And I know that I need somewhere to put my title starter. So I go over to grab some extra labels. And this one doesn't match perfectly, but it does the job. I add that towards the bottom. And then I'm also going to grab the number 7 from the white stickers, and that is going to do it for day 7. Okay, so now I'm going to give you like a quick look at all of my days. I have day 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, and 1. And then all together, I'll put these together and I'll grab this nifty tool by We Are Memories Keepers and do my hole punch. And that's a wrap. Thank you so much for watching. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button, the like button, and leave any comments or questions below. God bless. Bye.